Welcome to the installation of Video BenchLab using VMDK images. From the SourceForge website, browse to the BenchLab project. Under the BenchLab project, you will find the VMDK images folder. The VMDK image folder contains all the three components that are needed for the demo. That is, the BenchLab client runtime, MediaDrop, and BenchLab web app. Click on each of these folders and download all the RAR files that have been present under each component. Again, make sure you download all the RAR paths. Repeat the same for the two components as well, that is MediaDrop as well as the web app. Once you have finished downloading all the RAR paths of each of the components, make sure to place them in 3 separate folders as shown in the video. The next step in the installation process is the generation of the VMDK images. For this, you require the WinRAR utility on Windows and the UnRAR utility on Ubuntu. Using the WinRAR utility, extract the VMDK images from the RAR paths. Repeat the same for the other two components as well. By default, the BenchLab client runtime supports Firefox as its browser, but with few configuration changes that later will be shown in the video, you can enable it for other browsers as well. For example, Google Chrome. For the demo, we would be requiring two browsers. Therefore, we are going to generate two VMDK images, one for BCR Firefox and the other for Chrome. Once you've generated your VMDK image for the client, you can just rename it to BCR Chrome and BenchLab BCR Firefox. Once you're done extracting all the images, you will have these set of 4 images that you would require for the demo. The next step in the installation process is creating the virtual machines. For this, you require a virtual machine manager. For the demo, we'll be using Oracle VirtualBox. From the website, you can download the binary for your system. You can use any other virtual machine manager as well. We now proceed with the creation of virtual machines. On the VirtualBox manager, click on New, give a name to the web app virtual machine. Specify the type of operating system to be Linux. Specify the memory size to be 1024 MB. We now need to browse to the VMDK image that we have generated for web app. Click on Create. The virtual machine for web app is created. Next, we create a virtual machine for MediaDrop. Again, specify the type of operating system to be Linux. Specify the memory size to be 2048 MB. Browse to the VMDK image that you have generated for media drop. Click on Create. The media drop VM is created. We now create a virtual machine for the BenchLab client runtime. First, we do it for the browser Firefox. The type of operating system is again Linux. Specify the memory size to be 1024 MB. Browse to the VMDK image for Firefox. Click on Create. Lastly, we create a virtual machine for BenchLab client runtime with Chrome. The operating system is again Linux. Memory size is also 1024 MB. And the VMDK image generated for Chrome is provided here. Click on Create. As you can see, the 4 virtual machines are created.
Once all the 3 components have been installed, the following network configurations have to be set for each of them. We'll first add a NAT network. NAT network is basically done so that each of the components can communicate with each other as well as the host OS. So under Preferences, go to Network and click on Add NAT network. Let's add the port forwarding rules so that the components can be accessed on the host operating system. So the port forwarding rule for BCR for web app is as follows. The IP address is localhost. Web app would be accessed at port 8084. So let's add it as 8084. The VMDK of web app has been assigned a static IP address that is 10.0.2.8. You all can change the IP address, but make sure to set the port forwarding rule accordingly. We should also add a port forwarding rule in case of media drop. Once again, the IP address of the host machine is the localhost. And media drop is accessed at port 8083. The static IP address assigned to media drop is 10.0.2.7. Upon creation of the NAT network, we'll change the network configurations of each of the components. Let's first start with web app. Go to Settings under the Network tab. This has been by default set to NAT. Change it to NAT network. Once this is done, let's start web application and check if it's working. The username is BenchLab and the password is BenchLab123. The same set of credentials apply to all the 3 components. Let's now check if Tomcat has been deployed. As you can see, the web application has been deployed by Tomcat. So let's try accessing it on host operating system at port 8084. BenchLab web app is up and running, and there are two trace files on the dashboard. You can use them to create experiments. Let's start BenchLab client runtime. We'll first change the network settings to NAT network. Since we'll use two browsers to run the experiments, we have to start two of them. The credentials are the same. The username is BenchLab and the password is BenchLab123. If we want to use different browsers for the experiments, certain change has to be done in the BenchLab client runtime. Go to the BCR folder and open the bcr.properties file. If you want to make use of the Firefox browser, set it to Firefox. Here it has already been set to Firefox. In case you want to use the Chrome browser, once again go to the BCR folder and open the bcr.properties file. As you can see, the browser has been set to Firefox. All you have to do is comment out Firefox and uncomment Chrome. And also make sure the Chrome system property value, which is at the end of the file, has been set to Chrome driver. Means is, under Chrome driver folder, which you can see is under BCR, you need to have the Chrome driver executable. Since this is a 64-bit Linux machine, you have to extract the Chrome driver for 64-bit Linux. This has been set. Now we'll start MediaDrop. So first let's change the network settings of MediaDrop to use the NAT network. Let's check if MediaDrop has been launched using the ps command. It has been launched. So let's try to access MediaDrop on the host OS at port 8083. As you can see, we are able to access MediaDrop on host OS. The Video BenchLab framework is up and running. All you have to do is register the browsers and create new experiments using the trace files present in the dashboard. Thank you.